All right, in our first episode of a short Wednesday content, Sarah and I were actually just talking about this Tetris situation with the I think he's 13 years old, just beat Tetris. So first of all, what he did is incredible.
Because I had to clarify, like, what my friend was talking about this with me yesterday, and when she said it, I just assumed, I guess he reached the level cap or whatever, like, they have
Kind
no
of.
more things.
So
And you just clarified that there's really
so
not?
this is really weird, and full disclosure, this actually comes through me, but from Scott Manley did a good explanation of this on Twitter X. The way the scoring in Tetris works is I'll gloss over some bits and try and simplify this, but imagine that it basically holds scoring events in its array. It's not that, but let's just pretend it's that. So if you clear, I believe it works such that if you clear a line, that is an event, and it gives you X score. If you clear 2 lines, that is an event, and it gives you
a better
more
score.
points.
Okay. Yep.
It can only hold so many scoring events.
Oh, I think I hear where you're going with this, because I haven't read anything about this.
Traditionally, previously, there was like the level cap where they called it the kill screen. So if you got to this point, you hit the kill screen.
Yeah.
But there was nothing actually stopping you from, if you're very careful, arranging it so that you only score in such a way that you can push the game further.
Interesting.
And that's what this kid did.
Interesting. Wow.
But my understanding from what Scott Manley said is that this is still not a perfect playthrough. So there's nothing necessarily stopping somebody else in the future from beating even this. Now, the reason that this is incredibly impressive in terms of like an accomplishment, which, I mean, I'm going to get into the second half of what I was saying in a second, but I'm going to say 10, 20 years ago, probably 10 years ago, people were talking about, beating Tetris, and there was a camp of people who did not believe that a human could manipulate the controls fast enough to get these levels done, let alone like think through what they needed to do in order to score, let alone selectively score to, beat the get past these kill screens. And so basically my understanding is basically what this kid did was selectively score throughout the game, such that he was able to get enough more scoring events out of it to advance to the next level. Because, of course, it's an exponential thing, at least I think it is, so that not only does it get faster, but you need more points to get to the next level. So there will come a point where there will be a perfect score, which I think is all 4-line clears. I think that is the perfect Tetris game. Theoretically, someday somebody might be able to do this. I assume you could do it with a machine right now. Like you could do it with a bot right now. And I would assume that would be the highest scoring. This is all, don't quote me on all of this because I don't know exactly how the scoring works. If you're really interested, Scott Manley did a much more elaborate tweet than I'm doing now. But basically, there was no beating involved. That you get to a point where the game crashes.
Oh.
This guy got further than other people had gotten. He got to the next level.
Oh. Okay.
And I think it is literally the next level. I don't think it was like, I'm not sure, but I don't think he got like a long ways past. I think it's just like nobody had gotten past that level mark, and then he did. Which
so basically a more accurate thing to have said would be he beat the high score.
He beat the record.
Yeah.
He didn't beat Tetris. You can't beat Tetris. It's still a crash. It's still a kill screen. He just got a different kill screen. So it's fairly disingenuous, but also there's the second half of this, which is a TV host. I feel like it was an Australian host. It doesn't really matter. It basically said like beating Tetris is not a life goal. And people are outraged about this.
Why not?
Well, so two things.
Like, why wouldn't? Well, maybe not your only life goal, but
yeah. So like I'm of two minds about this. I'm like, on the one hand, you are absolutely right. It is not a life goal. Holy shit! If somebody told me at my age that Tetris is their life goal, I'd be like, come on, kid's 13.
Yeah,
it's allowed to be his life goal.
Yeah. He doesn't have that much else going on right now.
I mean, come on. Dude set what will probably hold. He will go down in gaming history forever as the person who got further, even if it eventually gets dethroned. He got further than anyone at 13. Like, good for you.
Yep.
But also, I actually do agree with what the person said. Like, other than the fact that this is a 13-year-old, yeah, if beating Tetris is your life goal, I mean, to each their own, you go. But yeah, no, I actually agree. That's not a life goal. You should set your sights higher. But with that said, for a 13-year-old to have done this is very impressive. And it is like, when I say there's theoretically a better score, I do believe that that's the case. And I think theoretically you might even be able to get to the next level. But this is literally up against the very edge of what a human is
capable at this point.
Like our nervous system is capable of.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible that this kid is actually a mutant, like has some sort of mutation that allows him to just process faster.
Yeah, I was going to say too, like the fact that he is 13 too is not surprising because of his brain plasticity. Right. His reflexes are going to be different. Yeah.
So if there's
just so rather than just calling him a kid, I just looked up his name. His name is Willis Gordon or Gibson, I should say. Willis Gibson.
I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if that was the reporter's name, and I didn't want to. No, I think you're right.
I'm on the BBC website. No, sure.
But anyways, very cool achievement.
He said when he finished, I'm going to pass out. I can't feel my fingers. So that just shows how hard he was working at this.
And worth noting, this was done with an actual controller. Like this isn't bullshit with like, he was actually controlling it. There was no helpers or nothing. Very, very, very incredible achievement. It's in the same realm as like the world's record holders for like Rubik's Cubes and stuff like that. Which on the one hand, I think is incredibly silly and dumb. But on the other hand, I do lots of things that are incredibly silly and dumb. I'm not here to judge anybody's hobbies. And well done to Gibson. Willis, you said?
Willis Gibson.
Yeah, Willis Gibson.
Yeah.
But I wanted to clarify the two things. One, that beating is a strong word. I mean, it is. It may last forever. It's hard to say because it is very much up against like the level that humans are capable of.
Even him.
Right. On the other hand, this isn't, he didn't beat Tetris. This is not like a win condition of the game. This is, he got further than anyone else and further perhaps than anyone else ever will, but there is theoretically higher scores that you can get. Because my understanding is he did not play a perfect game. He just played a closer to perfect game than anybody else has in history. So
it only took him 38 minutes too to get to that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, 38 minutes. Like, holy fuck! Can you imagine playing like lightning Tetris for 38 minutes?
No wonder he couldn't feel his fingers.
Right. But yeah, like the time. I think the time of the game won't increase very much.
No.
Like, even if somebody beats that score and maybe even gets to the next level, it'll be like 39 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the
game
is
it might
going,
even just a few seconds.
Right. Like, the game is going so fast at that point that that a couple of seconds either way can make a significant difference. But anyways, that's how it works. This is, as I say, this is me sort of bastardizing information that Scott Manley put out there. And he was summarizing data that other people have put out because the source code has been looked at many times by various people. But that is what actually happened. Nobody beat Tetris.
Kid just did incredibly well.
He beat everyone else.
Yes.
He did not beat Tetris. Because there is no end to Tetris. It's just eventually it runs out. It basically overflows the scoring buffer. And then the game crashes. So
that's cool.
So that's what that's about.
Which is funny because I had just downloaded Tetris on my phone again before this news was announced.
I was gonna say, yeah,
like
this is gonna result in an absolute spike of people playing Tetris,
which is not a bad thing. It's a fun game.
Tetris is such a cool game. Which actually, by the way, I'll plug it again. We talked about it previously.
Several
the
times.
Tetris movie, very, very, very good. Really, really good.
Excellent.
Whether you play Tetris or not, just a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
So
I need to force my parents to watch it because I know my dad will love the game. Like, my dad is in no way a gamer.
Yeah.
But if I make him watch that, he will enjoy that movie.
Yeah, it would be hard not to like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So, anyways, that's what happened with the Tetris. So, congratulations to Willis Gibson. And I agree, beating Tetris is not a life goal. But when you're 13, you're allowed to have that life goal. And yeah, maybe someday somebody will beat him. Mm-hmm. Or he'll beat himself is probably more likely.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or never play it again.
Yeah.
I might never play it again at that point. I'd be like, fuck it, I'm done.
Go out on top.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching. We'll check you out in the future.
See ya.